a story that we have put up on a Railnatter in the past, which is pertinent to this whole story, and why we're talking about this now, is this story that you did back in 2022, which is self-driving cars. Yeah, go on. Yeah,
it was originally a Reuters scoop. I'm also just going to pull it up because I want to make sure I've got the text of what I wrote in front of me. But it was a Reuters scoop, I'm pretty sure. And the CEO of Cruise, so General Motors, kind of had their internal. They bought a startup and used it as sort of their test bed for self-driving tech, and it was called Cruise. And their CEO was like, we have always been using remote human oversight for our like self-driving taxi fleet, and I don't see a point where we'll ever be able to wean off of it entirely. And you know, there's this is not just, you know, Cruise has since gone under. GM decided they would, you know, sort of cut bait on that after spending $10 billion over the course of the decade on it.
Staggering.
Largely because they didn't think the economics were there. That's a whole other story. But, you know, this is, even as the tech has matured, this has kind of been the perennial problem. Like, you know, in this story that Reuters did, this was late 21. There was a Waymo supervisor who said that he was disengaging the cars 30 times a day to basically remotely, you know, RDP into a Waymo, take it over, drive it through traffic. Presumably they've improved that number since then, but there's really no good hard data around it aside from
very
when somebody will actually like go to a reporter and say, hey, guess what I've been doing lately. But you know, this was early. This is early in Cruise's life. And let me see, I'm trying to see what else I had said in this story. Yeah, okay. The only other kicker in here is Cruise was losing $5 million a day shortly before GM pulled the plug on it. So, you know, not a super profitable thing.
And this comes back to a thing that's a recurring question I have, which is true for any tech. Like you talked about all the other stuff. This is the question to ask any of the tech, any of the overlap where the tech industry is trying to get involved in something practical, whether it's health, transport, whatever. What problem is it solving? And in this case, the problem it's solving is the solvency of the automotive industry, in the sense that it's helping to make it insolvent. Like, it's helping to dissolve large elements of help to sink a lot of cash of the automotive industry in this junk. It's quite spectacular. 5 million a day. Yeah, just for what purpose, you know? And it's just
a lot of it is like, you know, you can. It's just another thing that you can rent out without having to actually pay a person, right? And that was, I think, kind of the promise of it, and the fact that GM got out of it meant that they just didn't think it was going to mature enough to the point that they could do it. You know,
and it's
Waymo obviously thinks differently because like they're currently working. Also, I do need to correct myself. Apparently, Waymo doesn't use. Cruise was using, I think, remote operators. Waymo at the time was still using people in the driver's seat.
In the driver's seat,
yeah. Graduated from that, and they've got
into the.
Yeah,
remote.
This still causes problems. I don't know if you've seen the videos of Waymos sitting in a parking lot all bunched together.
Yeah, it's a fun one. It's the sort of thing that if I was clever, I'd have put the video here. Again, James, sorry. The thing about the remote driver is that you can put them in the Philippines or in... Yeah, so once again, we're sending our labor to the global south where unions and wage fairness doesn't exist, which is nice. And the other point that I want to say is, so this is the story of the driverless car. While I pop my face down here, the story of driverless cars is often kind of punctuated by Elon Musk's latest promise about self-driving cars, right? And it's, it just goes on and on and on and on and on, which kind of comes back to this point that I wanted to dig in with you, Victoria, which is reality versus hype. Like, we've got the hype. Of all the hype masters, Musk is probably one of the most successful, but rabbit ears around the word successful there. But the actual reality, what does it look like? Where are we sat with the actual reality